living out of a backpack for, you know, most of the last year and a half now, I suppose, it really does change your outlook on just what it means to be happy. I've learned that you really don't need all that stuff to be happy. So just by cutting out all the things that aren't necessary, it opens up the door for a lot of new opportunities. I don't have a big salary now. I don't worry too much about retirement income and things like that. I think everything's okay there. But, you know, I look at what other people are doing who are my age and, you know, working to pay for all the stuff. And I feel like I'm a lot richer than they are.
So probably the hardest day, but it was not a bad day, and it was actually awesome, was just a few days ago. I was walking the Bogachil River. Did you come out at the Bogachil? Yeah. Just coming into the rut now. Did you hear the bugling?
Yeah, a little
last
bit.
Couple days?
Mm-hmm.
So it's early. Everything was early. The blueberries, the huckleberries, everything was early this year, and the rut normally isn't this early. Yeah, they'd been bugling, and I wanted to see him, and then he just ran face to face with this elk. Like I said, he was as big as a moose, probably 1,500 pounds.
An entire herd of elk. I smelled them before I saw them.
And so my poncho was making all kinds of crinkling noises, and it kind of freaked him out. And he ran, but then he stopped and faced me. And I just faced him, and he was like maybe 100 feet away. And then I just nodded my head at him, and he ran. Because he was already, I had kind of the psychological edge with the poncho on. He was already scared. He was like, what the hell is that?
There was a section going into Eureka where is a long road walk and it's raining. I had one of those, you know, WTF moments where, like, what am I doing out here? You know, like, not that I wasn't even, like, it wasn't that miserable, but here I am, you know, I probably should have a job at home, you know, where I can make money and support myself and do normal things, and here I am in the rain walking a road to some little town that I've never heard of in Montana in the rain. This is like, is this really a good life decision for me to even be out here? And I never had any moments like that on the AT.
Some of the eastern Washington springs, where, because of the free-range cows, made it really difficult to get water, because you would come up to water and be like, all right, and then you realize it's just all cow piss and shit. And you're like, well, that's not the water. I'm not even going to try and filter out of that, you know. It's not worth it, you know. And so you'd walk up the water source until you found where the spring actually came out. Mm-hmm. And if you're lucky, there was a barrel that was protected by something. But I did find a particular spring called Easy Spring. Went up to that water barrel, and there was a dead crow in the barrel. And so I was like, well, I'm not getting water here.
One day, we came to a place where we had to bushwhack for 6 miles. And the beginning of the bushwhack section required us to scale kind of the side of a pretty steep mountain, just climbing along rocks and getting up to the ridge line.
It's got to be the place, right?
I think so.
And I got myself into a predicament that required me to change my center of gravity by removing my backpack so that I didn't fall backwards off of a ledge. So I was holding precariously onto a pine branch with one hand while unsnapping my belt, my hip belt, and then one at a time getting my arms through the straps just to let my pack drop behind me and hope it didn't roll all the way down the mountain. Now fortunately it was caught by a branch on a dead tree and it didn't roll very far, and I was able to get it.
It started raining on the way down.
I think it might be time to get off of this ridge.
And it didn't get any easier from there. The bushes just got more dense and taller. I mean, when I got down to the creek, I was just like, what am I doing here? What the hell am I doing here?
I had a few of those moments during that.
But, you know, I started thinking about the basics. So I was like, you know, I really haven't been taking many pictures. So I took out my camera and just started snapping away. As I was taking pictures, this guy comes out of nowhere. He's just standing there. He's like, yo. I'm like, whoa. Hey, what are you doing out here? He apparently was just doing a weekend hike, and he was supposed to be back noon of the day before. So he was well past his expected, you know, arrival. You know, we'd find a game trail, go along it, it would end. What do we do? Oh, look, there's one over there, you know, and then we jump to that one, follow that one for a bit. But we made it to the road okay. Got to the Lion's Head campground, probably around 7-ish. And then the following morning, I talked to the camp staff, and they had told me, yeah, his wife called search and rescue. The sheriff actually just got here as he was coming back. In fact, the sheriff was driving up that road and passed him on his way back, thinking that he was part of the search and rescue team.
Okay, the 5 of us, we made a late afternoon, early evening hike down to Rexford, and so we got up to the RV camp, and next to it is the Frontier Tavern, and we were kind of blown away. We really just wanted to get one beer, wet our whistle, and then go set up camp somewhere up ahead. So we sat down at a picnic table. So the waitress came up and she let us know that another patron inside the bar had put down $100 toward our bar tab that night, whatever we wanted to spend it on. So this turned into just a free-for-all. We were the last people there, closed the place down, and then we were wandering around what looked like private property on gravel roads, trying to find a place to camp. And there was just nowhere. There were homes being built. So Alex and I were walking ahead of the pack, and we happened to see a shooting star on a clear starlit night shoot straight down toward the ground, and we just kind of stopped. Oh, that's a sign. We got to go where that shooting star went. So we kept following, you know, that road, and I looked across the way with my headlamp and noticed there was a picnic table and a fire pit, kind of catty corner. So we went over there, and it was a campsite. So the shooting star led us right to this only campsite within several miles of this place where we were. And the next morning, a gentleman stopped in a pickup truck, and he came over, and he goes, okay, my curiosity's got the best of me. Who are you all, and what are you doing here? So we explained our whole story, where we came from, where we're going, and he thought it was really cool. So it turns out he's the owner of this whole piece of property that's being developed with vacation homes. And he also told us there's a marina store down at the bottom of the hill, and he's buying coffee for all of us. So we made our way down to the lake there and the marina store, and we ended up hanging out there pretty much all day because there were a few rain showers, and we decided it was not safe to hike out in that type of weather.
It's just not safe.
You know, what you need will be provided in one way or another, and just trusting that.
Yes.
The trail always provides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does.
As people were saying that in the beginning, I'm like, oh, it's just one of those like hiker terms.
Yeah.
And I saw it happen over and over and over, and like more than could have just been coincidence. This was in the Olympics. I was out there for like a 10-day section, and on day like 5, my spoon broke.
Yeah.
So for a couple days I had it like duct taped, and it kind of worked, but it was a huge pain in the ass. 2 days, I think, before I got to town, I was digging a cat hole to take a shit, and a plastic spoon just pops out of the dirt.
Really?
Nice, that's awesome.
Like,
Wow.
Just perfect, like exactly what I needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There it is.
And it was buried, like I never would have seen it unless I
Right.
chose to shit right here.
Right.
It's funny how it's always about spoons.
There are a lot of spoon stories.
Yeah. A friend of mine in 2010 on the PCT, Fozzie, he broke his spoon. We got underneath I-10. He sees in the dirt just this little shine, and he walks over and starts digging around it, and he pulls out a silver spoon, like a real silver spoon. And right there, you know, and I had told him before that, I said, don't worry about it, man, the trail will provide. And there it was. Later on, at the Whitewater River, he took a bunch of sand and started polishing it up, you know, and cleaning it up, getting all the oxidation off of it. And it was like from the 1900s.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's like a honest-to-God silver spoon from the olden days that it very well could have been from one of the railroad workers.
Whoa.
When the railroad was put in. You
Just
know?
waiting for a thru-hiker to pick it up 100 years later.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, you know, but there it is, you know, the trail provided.
This trail community is completely fresh and new. So when you, like, one example is just before walking into Olympic National Park, I ran into a woman. Her name is Natalie, and her trail name is Belgian Babe. And she knew about the PNT, but she was certainly not a trail angel at the time. And she invited me to her house, and then Rainbow Bright showed up 5 minutes after I met her, and she invited Rainbow Bright, and then when we were in Port Angeles, we ran into Marathon. He looked like a vagrant sitting on the side of the road, and we invited him, and then Fitty Shrimp calls Marathon, and I kept asking her, is this okay? Oh yeah, I've got 4 extra bedrooms, you know. And Fitty shows up, so we had 4 thru-hikers for a 000 day at this woman's house in Port Angeles, which was fantastic.
Oh, the generosity from strangers was incredible on this trail. I was not expecting it as much or at all. The Feist Creek Resort in Idaho, where we were offered a place to stay for free and given the keys to the kitchen in the morning so we could make ourselves breakfast. I had a lady ask if we were hiking this trail and just gave me a hug.
About 400 miles in, I developed stress fractures in both of my feet. The left one came on pretty suddenly, going out of Medellin Falls. It started hurting, and then the next day was when it was really hurting. We were in Northport and staying with Bruce and Shirley on their organic farm. We were there for about a week, just while I went to different doctors and tried to figure out what our plan was, what was going on, and that was just amazing, you know, to have people to stay with, and they took great care of us, and so that really, really adds to the experience of the trail. Even though it was a sad time for me, obviously I had to get off the trail, it was still, that was the best place for it to happen.
Oh yeah, you know. Oh absolutely, that was such a fantastic place, and the people, those two were just
so nice,
big hearts, really, really big hearts.
On Mount Henry, another lookout tower, I got struck by lightning twice, early in the morning at dawn. That was cool, within 5 minutes. I've always wanted to be in a lookout tower getting struck by lightning, and it wasn't even that as scary as you'd think it would be. You know, it was actually, the sound must radiate outwards. It's a sonic boom, so it just actually shook the mountain and the tower for like 30 seconds each time. The whole thing shook, and the sound was incredible because it's going away from you. You're just right in the middle of the strike, you know. And then Lookout Mountain and Northwest Peak. And that night on Northwest Peak, I woke up at about 2:30 in the morning. Looked like dawn. It was so light, and I thought, man, it doesn't feel like I slept very much at all. I didn't. There's no way it's dawn. And I was kind of confused, and I looked at my watch. It said 2:30 in the morning, and then I thought, oh my gosh. When you're kind of groggy, you don't know what's going on, and the whole northern sky was lit up. So much was lighting the cabin up, and it was Aurora Borealis went off that night, and from the lookout tower, it literally lit the tower up, and incredible. Only the second time I've ever seen the Aurora Borealis. One time on the AT, yeah, up in Maine. So, yeah, that was awesome.
What's your cat's name?
Oh, this is Princess Carmelea. That's her cat stripper name. But I just call her Leia.
There's a woman that's walked probably more than any other American woman. Her trail name is Mother Goose. She's walked 42,000 miles through hiking, and she has a hat it's a custom-made hat. She made it herself that has hiker trash written on it. We look like vagrants. Some of us are vagrants. When we get to town, if it's been wet, out in front of the post office, you'll see like tents hanging from the trees and just socks and all the. It looks like a yard sale or a garage sale. In fact, it was Anacortes. I was at a Trail Angels. There's a Trail Angel in Anacortes. Shelby's her name, and I was camped on her lawn. She lets the hikers camp on her lawn, and she serves this wonderful dinner every night. And I actually had Saturday morning 2 women come up and try to buy my stuff from me. They thought it was a yard sale, and they said, "How much do you want for the tent?" I go, "No, I'm actually tenting here. This tent's not for sale." They had all my stuff strewn out on the yard, and they thought it was, a Saturday morning. It was somebody's garage sale or yard sale.
Is a time that Spaceman Spiff farted on the waitress.
Yes.
And when we got out of Glacier, we were in this town of Polbridge, and they have this mercantile, and next to it is a bar, and that's all that they have. And here's Spaceman Spiff sitting at the table, and he lets one rip, so to speak, farts really loudly. He lifts to the side and like that, and as he's doing that, unbeknownst to him, the waitress is right there trying to give him his food. So we didn't think that was, that the waitress deserved to be fired upon. So we talked Spaceman Spiff into making an apology to the waitress next time she came to our table. And she came back to our table and he apologized for his farting on her. It was probably the most awkward social situation I've had to witness.
Flatulence?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Good,
Smell
thank
it.
you, I appreciate it.
No apology
We're
necessary.
outdoors. We're outdoors. I hate you guys. All right, what's that?